Hi, and welcome to Manny's Makings. Today I want to do an easy peyote start technique. Something I learned, saw as a child and learned. We did it with big pony beads to learn this technique when we started, but I'm going to do it today with 11/0 Delicas, just so you can see that it can be done for a smaller bead, so that you can, if you want to actually make a peyote bracelet. One of the things I hear most often is that people really struggle with starting peyote. They love the look of it, want to be able to do it, and can't. So I wanted to show you another possibility of something that you can do that might help. Now what you're going to need is 2 needles. Fairly straight. This isn't perfect, but it's fine. And I think this one is a 10/0. It doesn't really matter. 10, 11, 12 is fine. And then I have another one, and I have 6-pound Fireline on it. And this is the one I'm going to use for the project. You're going to need a stopper bead. Now this bead just needs to be another color than the one you're going to use in your project. Now we're going to start. If you know how to do peyote, you're familiar with peyote, move on to another video. This is for the people who've never done peyote before, or struggle like crazy to start peyote, have tried the little cards, have tried all kinds of other gizmos that help them start, and it's not working. You can try it. This is one more thing you can try to see if you can get it to work for you. So we're going to take this stopper bead, and we're going to take it down towards the end of our thread. And I don't have a very long piece because I'm just showing you quickly how to do this. And then this is my thread going into my needle, and then I'm holding onto the tail. And you're going to run your needle back through the stopper bead, okay, this way. So from the tail up to the head, we'll call it. Okay, so we're going to run it once. Okay, so I have my tail down here, and I have my needle thread on this side. Now, when you do it just once, you can still move. See, I can still move the bead on the thread fairly easily. If you want to make sure it doesn't move, do it a second time. And then it's going to be, you can move it, but it's going to be a lot harder. You're going to have to dig your nails in. But see, now it's pretty stuck. Okay, so we're going to do that 2 times through, so it's pretty stuck to make it easy for everybody. And then we're just going to add some beads to the needle. So I'm going to add 10 Delicas. So I'm just picking up 2 pink, 2 white, 2 pink, 2 white, and 2 pink. Come on. There we go. One last one. So this is what I have on my needle. So you can see the Delicas are pretty small. I have 10 beads. Make sure you have an even number. This is even count peyote, not odd count, okay? And I would recommend you get really familiar with even count peyote before you attempt anything that's odd count, especially if you struggle, okay? So we're going to take this down to the end where our stop bead is. So now all our beads are next to our stop bead. So then we're going to take our needle, the one with our thread, and stick it in the board out of our way. We're going to pick up the other needle. And I know how this works, but I'm going to explain it to you. So let's say you have 12 on here. Well, how do you know which one you have to put the needle through and don't? Well, if you think about it, we're going to bring our working thread back this way. We're going to skip this bead, go through this bead, skip this bead, go through this bead, skip this bead, go through this bead, skip, go through, skip, go through. So if we're going to go through a bead, we don't want to stick a needle in it. If we're going to skip it, we're going to stick a needle in it. So basically it's every second one. So I'm just going to pick everything up. Now I'm going to come in a little closer. Hopefully I can do this without being too close. Okay. So I'm going to skip this first one, so I'm just going to let it go down the thread. If it'll go down the thread, there we go. Down the thread towards my stop bead. Now the second one I'm going to put on my needle. Now I'm going to hold on to where the eye end of my needle is. Okay. Believe it or not, that's the eye end of my needle. I'm going to hold on to that, and so that the beads don't slide off, okay, of the other end of my needle. And I'm going to stick this through my needle, through the bead through my needle. Now if you're using Nymo or any other thread that could split, please be careful not to split your thread, okay? I'm going to take the next bead, get it out of the way. I'm going to take the following bead and put it on my needle, and I'm just going to pull, okay? I'm going to take the next bead, get it out of my way, take the following bead, so you can scooch these beads up a little bit on my thing here. There we go. Skip that one, go through the next one. And for those of you who've done peyote, if you're still watching, you're going, what the heck? It's okay. Next one, so I'm skipping one, adding one, skipping one, adding one. So the very last one is going on my needle. I just have to, these are really tiny, so it's, and this is fairly far away so I could get it nice and close up for you. Okay, so this is what I have. I'm going to move these down my needle a little bit. I got my stop bead, I got all my beads, and I'm going to grab a hold of my beads and I'm going to pull till my stop bead comes up to my beads. So this is what I have. I have my needle, I have a bunch of beads on my needle. Every second one is on, see, every second one of them is on my needle. And you can see the needle right there and there and there. This becomes your sticky outie. See the one that's sticking out on this side? And then there's another one sticking out, and another one sticking out, another one, another one. Okay, so that's what you're going to have to do for your next row. So I'm going to make sure my thread's not tangled around my needle in any way. And I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to stick it in the board. Now I'm going to try to come in a little bit closer for this part. There we go. Sorry about the wiggling. Happens when I move my camera around. Okay, so I have, it goes, you know, up and down, up and down. So my thread's coming out here, and this is my first sticky outie bead. So I got to put a bead on. So I'm going to put a pink one on. And I'm going to go through the one that's not on. See how I can loosen the thread? This is not on the needle. I'm going to go through it, and it doesn't matter if you loosen the thread, you're holding on to the thread on this side, your tail thread, and the end of your needle, and the other end of your needle's in the board, okay? And I'm going to pull my thread through, and I'm going to tighten. And at first it's going to look wonky. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Then I'm going to pick the next color up that I need to pick up, which is my white one. And I'm going to go through the one that's not on the needle, which is the sticky uppie. And I'm going to put it through here, and I'm going to grab a hold of it and pull my needle through. And try not to get caught on anything. And I'm pulling. Now look what's happening. My peyote strip is starting. Isn't that cool? And then the next one. Now this is with little tiny beads. So you can definitely do this with bigger beads. If you want to start with learning with 8/0s, go for it. You know, you can do a basic pattern with 8/0s easily. So I'm getting my tail thread out of the way there. It was getting in the way. So I'm still really close here, close up. So those of you who like it close, sorry that my fingers keep getting in the way, but, and I'm pulling. Alright, see what's happening? So I have one more to do, and I've finished my starter strip. So I'm going to put it through the last one. Don't go through your, the bead stopper. You need to avoid that one, and you're going to pull. So I have, it looks a little funky in the end, but that's okay. So now I'm going to put my fingers on this, and I'm going to pull my needle out of the board. Ta-da! I have a strip. I'm going to take it, I'm going to flip it around gently, and I'm going to hold on, and I'm going to take this thread, my one on the needle, and I'm going to pull it tight up. Okay? And it's going to snug up everything to my stopper bead, and I'm going to have this wonderful starter peyote. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? Okay, normally I flip my work, but I'll try and do that without flipping it for those of you who don't flip. Okay? I'm going to move this other needle out of the way because it's right in my way. So now you're ready to go down your next strip. So I'm going to, and I never do this on the board, so this could be fun. So I'm going to go through my sticky outie. So I'm skipping a bead, going through a bead. I can't do it on the board, sorry guys. I'm going to hold on to something. Skip a bead, go through a bead. Okay. So make sure that's good and tight. Okay. I'm going to just hold on up here. So my fat fingers are out of the way. So how peyote works, trying to get it to focus. It's not going to focus because I'm so tight. Come on, you can do it. There we go. You skip a bead, you go through a bead. You skip a bead, you go through a bead. You skip a bead, you go through a bead. You skip a bead, you go through a bead. Once you get the first two, you put the stuff on the needle, that's the first two rows, and you put the next one in between. That's the third row. This is the fourth row that we're doing. Once you get to this point, you can see those sticky outies. So that's the one you go through. So you pick up a bead, you go through the sticky outie, you pick up a bead, you go through this, whoops, I gotta hold it down a little lower. Try not to move here. Go through the sticky outie just by itself. Okay? You pick up the next bead in your pattern, and you go through the next sticky outie, and only the sticky outie. Okay? You pick up a bead, and you go through the next sticky outie. And I like to give it a little pull at that point to make sure everything's nice and snug. So look at this. We have this wonderful starter strip. At this point, everything's pretty secure. You can pick it up, you can move it around. Now I could do another row, so let's just do a quick row if I can get it to focus. Sort of. Let's back out just a little bit. That'll help me to the focus better. There we go. Okay, so on my starter strip, I can hold it between, I usually hold it between my fingers like this. And then if it's a long strip, I just move my fingers down. So I can see the sticky outie beads. See the sticky outie bead? Come on, focus. There we go. So I'm going to go through the sticky outie bead. I'm skipping this bead, I'm going through this bead. And I'm picking up my next one, so I have a white one on my, I'm going missing a bead, skipping a bead, going through the next bead that's sticking out. Oops. That's what I get for pulling too hard. I'm going to skip a bead, and I'm going to go through the next bead. And that's the wrong next bead. There it is. Sorry. So I'm going through that bead. I need to tighten up my work a little bit, so I'm going to just pull. So whenever you need to tighten up, pull straight up. Don't pull out, pull straight up. It'll help tighten everything up, okay? So then I need my next color. And I'm skipping a bead, going through the next bead. And skipping a bead and going through the next bead. So I'm at the end of that row, and I would be ready to go to the next row. So this is the peyote piece that you end up with, and you can turn this into all kinds of things. There's lots of peyote patterns online. They're available all over the place. My toggle that I showed you in the previous video, where I showed you how I start peyote, this is a way that if people struggle, that they can try and do that, and you can just add more beads. Your needle, these size needles, these are beading. This is a beading needle, size 10. It will hold usually a good 12 to 14 on it, and you still have room to stick the tip in and still have something to hold on to. So anything longer or wider than that, you probably shouldn't be tackling if you're new and you can't get peyote started. Start with something simple, learn the technique, and go from there. So I hope you learned something. For those of you who struggle with peyote, this easy peyote start technique I hope is helpful. If it is, please comment below, and please like, share, and subscribe. Especially subscribe. It really helps me and encourages me. Make comments and let me know if you succeeded. If you struggled with peyote forever and finally succeeded, let me know how you did, and I'd love to hear from you. So take care from Annie's Makings, and keep on making.